Good afternoon, everybody. I hope folks can hear me okay. Welcome to our second CTE Foundation celebration for CTE Month in February. Today, we're going to be hearing from Sonoma County students in a variety of CTE programs across the county. And our theme really is today how CTE enhances education, builds work readiness skills, and prepares students for careers. The student perspective, that's what we're getting today, and it's an exciting program. So I want to get started, and I'll just begin by introducing myself. I'm Stephen Jackson, and I'm the former director of career technical education at the Sonoma County Office of Education, where I did that for several years, and I taught business and computers and telecom at Montgomery High School for quite a few years. So I'm excited to be here, and I think this is going to be a fantastic program. The CTE Foundation's mission is to innovate the education to career experience to strengthen economic development and student success. We do this by investing in programs and strategies that bring relevance to academics and provide career exploration and skill building opportunities for our youth. Investments in the CTE Foundation and CTE across the county are guided by the workforce development needs of Sonoma County with the goal of creating a pipeline of skilled workforce for local industries. Ultimately, we want to support the economic health and well-being of both our young people and the community. Today, we'll learn about these high-quality CTE programs from the product of those CTE programs, the students themselves. So we are super excited for this opportunity. Just a bit about career technical education. We call it CTE for short. It is an educational approach designed to prepare our youth for a variety of careers. It connects academics and relevant career training and relevant projects for students to do in various industries. So that's the type of work that that career technical education is, charged to do. And so we continue to do that. It also provides engaging and relevant learning so that students understand what they're learning and why they're learning it, the value of that. They get to do these academic skills and skills training in real world situations, and those help their students to be very successful. We have programs in many different industry sectors. We're going to focus on a few today, but we focus on industry sectors such as healthcare, agriculture, engineering, manufacturing, arts, media, and entertainment, construction, and there are many, many more. These courses that students take provide them a valuable and industry-driven, hands-on, authentic learning opportunities developed by many innovative and well-trained teachers and supported by a host of industry professionals that love working in the classroom and bringing students to their work sites. These are exciting things for these students to get and some very valuable opportunities that they're able to take advantage of. This strategy works because it forms direct connections between the schoolwork that students are doing and the learning they're doing in the classroom and the types of skills and attributes and mindsets that they're going to need, as we've identified in a portrait of a graduate, that they'll need to be successful in careers in the future. So with that link between education and industry, or education and professionals out in the community, is super important. The other thing that I think is super cool about career technical education is that students can learn high-level academics because they're learning it in the context of real-world applications. They dig what they're learning and they're working on, so they learn more effectively and more profoundly, I think. As you'll see today, the innovative and authentic learning students are doing, supported by many industry professionals, present a hopeful and encouraging potential for our county's workforce needs and the support for our future economy. So you've heard enough from me, thank God. So we're super excited for this program. and we're going to hear from students about their experiences in CTE programs throughout our county. Let's meet the students. I think they're gonna, so students, if you wanna, oh, there they are. Look at them. They're showing up. Hey, you're late for class. All right, Jack, I thought you were gonna be on time. What happened? All right, here we go. So we're gonna meet these folks, and we're so grateful to all of you for coming and talking with us and sharing your experiences, also your teachers to help make these connections. So let's get started and meet who they are. Why don't we start with Maria, you can introduce yourself and then we'll move around. And if folks are not sure, then I'll call on you.
All right, hi, my name is Maria Camacho. I'm a senior at Geisville New Tech Academy, and classes I've taken for the CTE courses are construction, ag, aeroponics, and robotics.
Excellent, thank you. How about Jack?
Hello, my name is Jack Turner and I go to Sonoma Valley High School. I'm a senior and I chose CTE engineering classes because I wanted to work with both my hands, and technology is that combination will be the future.
Right on. Adam, what about you?
Hi, my name's Adam Jason. I'm a junior at Petaluma High School in the FFA program. I took CTE courses in the ag mechanics, especially where I take welding and construction and ag mechanics, just so I could work hands-on and learn those skills.
All right, Lucas, you're up next, buddy.
Hi, my name is Lucas Yodra. I go to Sonoma Valley High School and I'm taking CTE engineering as a senior. And I really just want to do this in the future, and it's really fascinating to me.
All right, cool, thank you. And Gabriella, take it home.
Hi, I'm Gabriella Flores. I'm currently a senior at Pioneer High School, and I am in health science and biotechnology level 2, but I've also previously taken levels 1 and 3. It's a 3-year pathway, and I chose to take it for the opportunities that present itself to students interested in STEM, such as internships, and I have so far completed 3.
Wow, that's exciting. Thank you all for coming, and it sounds like you have a lot of really good, solid reasons to be involved in career tech education, and many of you have for some time. So this is super, super exciting. Folks, we're gonna spend some time learning about some projects now that the students have been working on during distance learning. We'll get a chance to see the types of learning that their teachers are creating for them. Perhaps at times where there's opportunities that they've been engaged with industry partners, we'll hear about that hopefully as well. So, and if any of you have questions for the students about their projects, go ahead and put it in the chat, and Amber Figueroa from the CTE Foundation and I will be sort of monitoring that to and maybe be able to ask some of the questions. There will also be opportunities at the end of this program to ask some questions. So if you think of things, be sure to put them in the chat and we'll try to get to them. We may not be get to everybody's, but we'll do what we can. All right, so we're ready to get started? I think so. All right. It's weird not seeing everybody, but we're working. I can see the students, which is nice. So we're going to call on students. They have projects that they've been working on, so they're going to describe the project and some things. And so I'll just call on them and we'll get started with it. All right. Maria from New Tech in Geyserville. You want to describe your project?
The most current project I've been working on is actually an aero garden that I got from my teacher that runs the CTE classes. I actually grew basil, cherry tomatoes, and mint in there, and I had to program it to make sure it got watered and had the nutrients it needs.
Okay, that's great. So what was exciting about that project for you?
Well, to be completely honest, at first I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I actually really had a passion for it after, because it's actually very easy and you get to learn more about the better things in the world.
Oh, cool. So what do you mean by better things?
Such as for my aero garden, you don't need pesticides, and then the soil doesn't exactly have to be like temperature outside if you were to plant a garden outside.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. That's really cool. Yeah. So a little more sustainable gardening for all different kinds of environments. That's very cool. What is or was some of the most challenging things about that project?
I wouldn't say there was too many challenging parts, but it's
Mhm.
making sure it's watered and making sure the plants are actually growing. So taking care of it, maintaining it.
So sort of consistency and being able to be on top, pay attention to it all the time.
Exactly.
Very good, sort of persevering through that. Excellent. So did you try any tricks to help you do that, or?
No, I just followed the instructions and what my teacher said, and the outcome was good just by following the instructions.
Excellent. Unlike me, where I had to have my mom and dad try to remind me to do the stuff I was supposed to do. You were much smarter. Very good. Thanks. What would be the biggest thing you learned about yourself, perhaps, from this project? Maybe how you're going to be a better student, how you might be in the work world. What kinds of things did you learn about yourself? Maybe one.
Well, I learned about myself that it's actually easier to garden because at school, when I took my CTE construction ag class, we would go outside, but I would still have a hard time like maintaining my plants and all that. So I learned it could be simple and easy instead of worrying about the other plants, such as if they were going outside and following the instructions and making sure there's water.
Mhm. Excellent. Excellent. Wonderful. Well, thank you. And we're going to move on to the next student. And that's, how about Jack? Jack and Lucas, you kind of had projects together, so you can sort of tag team or something like that, or however we want to work it out.
Yeah, that sounds good. We have a little video prepared with different projects. I'll focus on the one that I did,
Okay.
which was a relatively loose assignment as we've been, working from home. So it was to find objects from around your house and create a structure or a piece of art just through different mediums. And so I combined engineering and art, and I became comfortable with welding throughout this process and also created a kind of a modern looking sculpture.
Cool. Awesome. And then we're going to look at the video in a few minutes. Lucas, what about you?
I threw in a couple of projects that I'd completed, and as did Jack. One of the ones I really enjoyed, even through distance learning, was taking materials from around my house or anything I could find from in the garage or behind the shed, and build a contraption called a trebuchet or a slingshot or a catapult, and have a paper ball land in a bowl 10 feet away.
Right on. Did it work?
And it did. You'll see it in the video.
Awesome. All right, let's take a look at that video. Quarantine engineering. I like that name. Oh yeah, there's the welding. That's great. That looks cool. Yeah, this is exciting. Now, unfortunately, the one of the trebuchet was. Oh, here's the final product. Oh wow, that looks really good, Jack. Now, was that? Oh, I better not ask that. I was going to see if it was a gift for somebody. You never know. Now I didn't see the paper go in the trash can. Maybe need a little slow motion, or it was cool though. So what was the device with the drill?
So that was one of the more simple, just in class projects. It was Halloween themed. Our teacher got into the spirit, and you had to move different. We created like a little ghost or a little witch or something, and you had to move it using a device in your room. So I just took a drill and I created a pulley system from my
Wow.
ceiling. So it's basic kind of from the outside, but it's fun to kind of create different little mechanisms and just during class.
That's pretty cool, because you had to think of a different way to move those things. Your teacher, Mr. Edwards, didn't give you any other instructions beyond that.
No, so he allows for lots of creativity.
Yeah. How'd you like that?
It was fun. I enjoy his assignments, and it's good working in class time. He's challenging yet interesting as well. So I enjoy the project.
Great. All right, so I want to make sure I get to these other questions. So we kind of understand the projects. Lucas, what was exciting about your Trebuchet project?
The most exciting aspect was probably just the hands-on experience that kind of showed me what I would like to do further on
Yeah.
instead of like working on CAD, for example. I really liked putting stuff together, working with wood, building something, and having the outcome be something positive.
Great. Now, I want to ask you how it might prepare you for your future career, but did you do designs ahead of time?
We did. And that's not to say that they didn't change in the future, like
Sure.
as I proceeded. But yeah. What was your initial question?
Oh, how does it prepare you for a career? Or what
Oh,
type of things do you do that you think might help prepare you for a career?
not necessarily this year because of quarantine, but for example, last year Jack and I worked together to build a chicken coop, and just that problem solving and working together and sharing ideas, that's a very valuable skill.
Wow, that's cool. So a lot of communication, collaboration, and it sounds like also some problem solving, even if you had a design for at least a trebuchet or whatever, that you had to actually adapt and make changes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's sort of, lots of industry folks know about change orders. Those are things that happen all the time. That's very cool. Jack, what would you say was the most challenging thing about the projects that you did? Maybe it was the what was I gonna say? Oh, maybe it was the moving that thing with two different structures. Maybe it was some of the other projects that you've done.
Yeah, for sure. I would say the most challenging thing back to when I was trying to learn how to weld is finding materials that were all ferrous metal that could be successfully bonded together. No one has ever taught me these things. So just by trial and error, I found out, a stainless steel spoon cannot be connected to a little iron piece of metal. So
Wow.
just through trial and error, kind of teaching myself, I guess.
Sure. Now, do you know why that can't be?
I do not know the science behind it. No, I just know that it obviously doesn't work because I tried it
Yeah.
and they did not connect.
So a little more research to sort of extend the learning of that project. That's kind of the cool thing about these ones where you have to figure it out. So I think that's some good learning opportunities that are there. Lucas and Jack both, can you talk a little bit about what did you learn about yourself through these projects, and how do you think that might help you in school and or careers in the future?
Well, I'll go first. Like I said, I learned that while CAD programs like AutoCAD or Fusion 360, which we used junior year for us, they were really interesting, but it was hard for me to work the entire class on that. And I realized that I'd really like something more hands-on, and
Yeah.
that's what I want to do in the future.
Right on. So you get an idea of the types of careers you want to pursue. Excellent. Excellent.
Yep.
What about you, Jack?
Yeah, I definitely second that. Working on a computer is not my forte. And so I learned that I like fabrication and wood and metal fabrication. And so you can apply all these different facets of engineering to a wide variety of things. And so I discovered one more that I enjoyed. So I think that can help me down the line.
That's awesome. How very cool. Right on. Well, thank you both. And thanks to the teachers. I see Mr. Edwards got a nice shout out there in the chat. So, all right, so let's move on to Gabriella.
Hi.
Hi, Gabriella.
So I did a lab in which I explored the question, what substances move from the mother's blood to a baby's blood. We experimented with two different substances that represented the mother's blood and the fetus's blood, because unfortunately, for safety reasons, we couldn't use actual blood. So both the mother's blood and child's blood were in separate tubes that represented the membranes, but they were then placed into a cup of warm water that represented the placenta. And we were told that the mother had consumed alcohol and was infected with a virus known as rubella. After 15 minutes, we were told to remove both membranes from the placenta and to test them with these different test strips that we were given to see what harmful substances were that came from the mother's blood and how they affected the baby's blood.
Wow.
And I found that both the alcohol and the virus that causes rubella were present in the baby's blood, even though there's no direct contact between the mother's blood and the baby's blood. all the transference was through the placenta.
Wow, that's a trip. Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was very exciting.
Yeah, that's cool. So now this was a kit that you got from your teacher, correct?
Yes, I have a few examples with me if you guys would like to
Sure,
see.
let's see it.
So these were the two different tubes. This
Uh-huh.
one was the baby's blood. This one was the mother's blood. And then
Wow,
this was the supposed to be the representation of the placenta.
got it.
We were also given a test strip and some instructions on them. So these are the instructions. This was where we tested whether or not the virus and the alcohol was present in the baby's blood. We were also given a few like instructions and visuals as well that we had to read and do some background research on while also answering questions as we went along with this project.
Right on. That's cool. So, and this kit, I want to mention that the CTE Foundation funded kits specifically for distance learning, and many CTE teachers use them, and this is an example of one of them that was made possible because the CTE Foundation provided funding. Gabriella, let me continue. So we have a good idea of the project and sort of what you discovered from it, which I thought was very cool. What was most exciting about it for you? There's the kit. We can see that.
I think the most exciting thing for me was visually being able to see the effects of the mother's health and the contents in her blood and how it affected the baby.
Wow.
I learned how delicate like pregnancies are, like human pregnancies, and how even though like the baby's blood and the mother's blood never physically mix, they still transfer nutrients and substances through the placenta, and how that definitely affects both the mother and the baby, depending on diet, nutrition,
Yes.
and different things that are consumed or like the environment surrounding the pregnancy. And so I found that really exciting and interesting to learn about.
Wow, cool. There's a lot of not just the healthcare science in that and how to or discover what happened, but then also the social implications of training or educating folks about, what they put in their bodies will impact. That's very cool. Gabriella, can you also tell us what was the most challenging for you in that project? I think you talked a little bit about setting up the environment before.
I think the most challenging was probably setting up a sterile environment, because even though we were not using actual blood or any harmful substances in the kits, it's still important to practice keeping a sterile environment. So it prepares students who want to go into the medical field and work in a lab environment to know how to sterilize your environment, especially when working with harmful substances or things that can be mixed accidentally. And so I think that was the most challenging part, especially at home, trying to find a place where you can create a sterile environment and clean everything before and after your experiment. Another thing was the timing with this lab. Even though it may seem like the timing may have not been needed to be perfect or anything, but in my class, we like to act as if it's like the timing needs to be perfect so that we avoid cross contamination or so that we can receive the proper results from the lab to answer the questions that come with the lab and get the proper result that we need.
Excellent, excellent. So, and actually, so you really simulate as best you can a real work environment while we're sheltering in place.
Yes.
So, it's also timely just because of all the issues we're having around the coronavirus. So to be able to deal with sanitation is super important. Thank you. All right, one last question for you, Gabriella. What did you learn about yourself that might help you for school or work?
I think I've learned that there are a lot of things within the medical field that are sometimes overlooked, such as pregnancies, because people think it's just a straightforward thing, but it's not. There are so many complications that can occur due to genetics, due to things that are consumed by the mother. environmental factors. And I think that's very important to take into consideration when preparing to enter a career pathway within STEM and especially the medical field, because it is very important to know all these things and everything that comes with treating patients and um, going to college and learning about these things and the medical precautions that are needed.
Yeah. Yeah. And we need a lot of medical professionals who look and speak like the patients that they're dealing with. Those are important things that we're knowing in our society now that we need to pursue. Wow. Thank you very much. That was fantastic. All right, Adam, you're up. Last but not least, for sure.
So one of the projects I'm currently working on in the ag mechanics class is electrical wiring.
Oh, yeah.
So we've been provided by our teacher with a 4x4 post with some electrical boxes on there. So that's going to be the picture to the right. And we've been given tools which have been, we've been able to get through the CTE Foundation. So we're given the basic tools and electrical receptacles, and on the board we have to wire a single pole switch, a 3-way switch, and a 4-way switch. And I think, it's difficult in a way because, we have instructions on what to follow and we're told to do with our teacher, but it definitely gives me a lot of hands-on and, learning about, something else that I normally wouldn't have learned about.
Yeah. Well, then managing those wires in those tight spots are challenging to do, and turning off the power first is generally a good idea.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Now, can you tell me a little bit about the sort of cart on the left?
So the card on the left, it's not finished yet, but I've been working on. Since I took intro to welding last year and I'm in advanced welding right now, I wanted to get into welding myself and get my own machine at home. So I decided to build myself a cart so it'll kind of fit where I want to put it, and so that's what I've been working on, and fabricating that together.
And you designed that yourself?
Yeah, it was a little difficult because I kind of had some idea of what I wanted to look like, and I
Sure.
kind of sketched it out, but I went and picked up some steel and then kind of started building it from.
Right on. It looks really good. And it looks like one that could be very effective in many shops. So
Yeah.
that's great. You could also go and get maybe input from some folks in shops and say, what else would you add to this or change about it? And then you'll learn more about how that works.
Yeah, I think that's cool. That definitely with that project too. It's like, especially with welding, it's like, when I'm using it on like a daily basis, and I was like, oh, I should add this to it and weld that on, or, I figure different things that I'd like to change with it in the future.
Yeah, I find the projects I do are never really finished. I always keep going. That's great. Thank you. Let me ask some more of these other questions. So what was the most exciting thing about either one of those projects?
I think the exciting thing about like with the wiring was, I knew a little bit about wiring before, but the first semester we learned a lot about how wiring worked and why it was such, like a valuable skill. And I think it was definitely rewarding for me to kind of, dig into it and see how it really works. And it's not as easy just, plugging some wires together and turning it on. There's a lot of rules you have to follow and things that have to be up to code for it to be, like in a way certified wiring.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. Also, so then what do you think might help you in the future? And I'm not sure whether you dealt with Ohm's law or anything like that in terms of electronics, but how might it help you in school and in the future in your career?
I think it's helped me in school, just, more or less have like a hands-on project to be able to work on, and not just, reading it out of a book and answering questions, really dealing with that real world situation. And I think it'll definitely help me in like the future, just, simple, especially learning just simple home wiring, instead of, having to call an electrician and pay a lot of money to get that, repaired. I have the basic skills to be able to do it myself. And
yeah, that's great. Fantastic. All right, Adam, what do you think was the most challenging about that project?
I think definitely the most challenging, I think the electrical wiring was, it was challenging, but I think the most challenging one was the welding cart, because I didn't really have, a picture instructions to follow. Like, a lot of class projects, we have instructions on how to do it. But with the welding project, it was kind of, I had an idea of other carts that I've seen built, and then having to build it to what I wanted. And especially I had some, restrictions where it needed to fit.
Yeah.
So I think it was a lot difficult, just kind of going from 2 sticks of metal and, trying to really figure out what I needed. And it was just challenging to, make it all work. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Lucas, did you have a little bit of a design, or was the design really in your head and you sort of created as you went?
I mean, I had a little bit of a design kind of on paper, kind of what I wanted to get in the end, but most of it was just kind of, try this out, see if it works, tack it up. And if it isn't what I
Great.
want, then, cut it off and try it again.
Great. Now you just mass produce those things. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Lastly, what really have you learned about yourself in working on these types of projects?
I mean, I think I've learned about myself that I definitely have, a few more skills than I realized, and that, problem solving is such a huge thing, because with electrical wiring and, fabrication, every time you run into a problem and, it's not, a teacher right there, especially with distance learning right now, you can't, hop on and just ask all those questions like you normally would be able to in the shop. So you really have to kind of figure things out yourself and, dive into it and problem solve with it. And I think that's, kind of cool about it.
Very cool. Well, wow. Thank you all. Those are all super exciting, cool learning opportunities. And for the folks out there watching, these are the types of sort of involved projects or learning opportunities that are being created for our students, that they're not necessarily linear. They're not necessarily just one subject matter. You have to bring in many different types of skills and knowledge that you have. We learned about certainly persistence. We learned about creativity. Some folks are being innovative. They're drawing on form of skills they learned before. What might be implications for society later on based on things that they learned. These are higher order types of learning things, or learning opportunities and skills that students develop, such that they can really make a difference. But without these types of hands-on projects that require the students to do some of the thinking and exploring and problem solving on their own, and many times with industry partners, it's super helpful for these students and makes a big difference. All right, so now we're going to move on to a very fun section in this program. We have a nice little opportunity to learn about what the students have done, or some different things. And I have a series of questions, but I have to put on a costume first. Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the CTE Foundation, How CTE Has Helped Me bonus lightning round. Are you guys ready? Okay. I would give my, call myself Alex Trebek, but, you just can't live up to the guy who was the host of Jeopardy for many, many years. But anyway, I digress. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask some questions, or have you complete a sentence, and in about 5 to 10 seconds to learn some different things. And so then I'll call on students, and then we'll move through. Clear enough? It's clear as mud, maybe, but it covers the ground. All right, ready to go? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The first question. The most exciting thing I did in my CTE course was, and we'll go to Jack.
Most exciting thing I did was construct a rocket on a laser cutter.
Party on. All right, same question, and we're going to Maria.
I would say using new machines to build tables and benches.
Oh, wow, very cool. And now, Gabriella.
I would say the internships I was able to participate in as a requirement for HSV level 3.
Excellent, very good. Adam.
Probably being able to just weld and, fabricate things and use my own designs and ideas.
Right on, we saw that. And then finally, Lucas, bring us home.
Make 3 simple machines out of wood.
Oh, very cool. Excellent. Okay. You all did very well. I'm not keeping score, but you're tied. Okay. So the next question, or complete this sentence. My seat, and you have to complete the sentence or you're disqualified. Okay. Just kidding. My CTE courses have taught me how to, a skill perhaps, and I think this is important for blank. And let's start with, I got to move us along. We're going to start this time. We'll go with Adam.
My CTE courses have taught me, basic hands-on skills, and it's definitely, helped me in the future and, into a future career.
Okay, very good. Let's go to Maria.
My CTE courses have taught me how to develop problem-solving skills like math and communication skills, real-world examples. And I would say this is important for CTE courses because it helped me with math, English, biology, chemistry, physics, and alternative energy, and more.
Jeez. Okay, wow, that's a lot. All right, Lucas, you're up, dude.
My CTE experience has taught me to work together with other people and work together to find common solutions.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I think that's obviously important. All right, last person or next person, Jack.
My CTE class has taught me to work with online CAD programs, and I think this is important for the future because all engineering professions use this pretty much.
Excellent. Yep, that computer-aided design, very good. Okay, Gabriella, you're the last.
My CTE courses have taught me how to properly inoculate bacteria in a variety of cultures. And I think it's important for students who are interested in microscience to practice and experience this in the classroom.
Wow, very nice. A lot of words that I struggle with in there, but that was very good. Thank you. All right, next one. Okay, fill in the blanks. All right, and here's the sentence, or fill in the blanks. I now understand whatever academic skill, geometry, persuasive writing, chemistry, biology, because we used it in my CTE class when we blank. So let's start with Lucas.
Okay. I now understand math and physics because I used it in my CTE class when we were talking about what's it called? I'm a free. It's pretty much and the actual and ideal mechanical advantage and the formulas to find it in objects.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Okay, Adam.
I probably learned probably geometry is probably the one that'd be the closest to that, especially in my sustainable ag construction. We've learned surveying, and I mean it's a little bit of geometry and part of that. So and
Sure.
also basic framing and things like that. There's a lot of geometry involved.
Okay, very good. All right, Maria.
I would say I have a better understanding of just math fractions because of the measuring tape and math reading plans. We used this in my CTE class when we were building the tables and benches, and then we provided a bid to repair work such as a painting store and how much like buckets we would need and how much it would cost.
Oh, that's a great project. How cool. Very good. Okay, Gabriella.
I now understand the importance of forensic science because because we used it in my CTE class when we participated in several discussions and podcasts that we listened to regarding actual homicides that occurred. The cases involved forensics evidence, and we looked at the evidence and how it affected the outcome of court rulings and convictions.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you this, but if somebody could you tell them what forensics is? Don't know. All right. I think you probably can. I don't understand it, but you've got it. Jack, you're up.
I now understand higher levels of algebra as we used it in the CTE class to find precise measurements for rocket fins and other various projects.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Very cool. Okay. Last one. Are we ready? I think so. All right. Complete this sentence. I am excited about a career in blank. I now know what I I now know that I want to be a blank. I have a connection to a company or employer, and I'll be asking them for a job. Gabriella, you want to go first?
I have found, sorry, that I'm excited about my career in the medical field. I know I want to be a nurse or a doctor because I found that my excitement for medical science is far greater than any other career I have explored within my CTE classes. and I have several connections with companies such as Medtronic and the American Red Cross Association, and I will be seeking employment and internships opportunities with them. And I have thus far participated in 3 internships
Wow.
that are applied, that apply science and research.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's very cool. Okay, let's go to Lucas.
Alrighty. I'm excited about a career in electrical engineering. I know that I do not want to be behind a computer. I have a connection to hands-on work. I already work for a landscaping company and I am learning a number of skills. And I like working with CAD engineering software, but I cannot do it for a whole period, much less a whole day. Therefore, being a senior, I'm excited to learn more about electrical engineering, hopefully become a contractor.
That's awesome. Excellent. Okay, Adam.
I'm excited about a career in welding, especially because I know I don't want to, sit behind a desk on a daily basis. And I've been lucky enough to give the opportunity to currently work for a welder and welding shop here in town. So, definitely gives me that opportunity to work in that industry.
Excellent. Jack.
I'm excited for a career as a general engineer, and so far I already had a job this summer with local general engineers, and I got to learn a ton from them and apply a bunch of material from my class to that job.
Oh, that's very good. Cool. And then Maria.
I'm interested in the field in the agriculture field because I did have like a mini internship over the summer with teachers at my school. And then I did have a construction agriculture class, which I was really interested in, and it helped me find my career that I wanted to do and what I was interested in.
Oh, that's very cool. You guys are lucky to be able to get those opportunities. That's really nice. Okay, thank you so much for participating in the lightning round. All of you guys won. So how about that? And we have wonderful prizes. Hi, Amber.
Hi, I'm wondering if we want to do a quick question from the audience before we move on to the next section.
Shoot.
From, let's see, one of the chats. I'm wondering if there are aspects of learning at home that you will miss when you return to school. Now, some of you are seniors, so obviously that'll be tough for you to answer, but for those of you returning to school next year, what might you miss?
All right, so whoever wants to go, or I can call on folks.
I know Adam is a junior. He might be the only junior in the group, actually, now that I think about it. So Adam, what will you miss when you go back to, about distance learning, when you go back to school?
The only thing I'll probably miss with distance learning is, being able to like kind of work at home and on, a little bit different pace, not being, such on like a schedule when things need to be done. But I mean, it'll be nice definitely going back to school to be able to work hands-on and in a classroom again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody else have a response? Well, you don't have to, brush your teeth before you go. That's always a good thing. Just kidding. Personal hygiene is very important. All right. So we have, thank you, Amber, for that. We have about 3 or 4 final questions that we're going to ask for each student, and then there'll be maybe some opportunities if more questions come up. So we'll just go around and you can answer these things. Again, we have about 15 minutes left or so. So we want to be somewhat concise, but we want to give folks a chance the students to answer. So the question is, if you were in charge of education, what would you change to improve these CTE programs and how they improve students' educational and career success? What would you do to make them better?
If I were to improve the CTE program, I would try to find more ways and more career pathways that could be explored than just a few at each school.
Yeah.
I feel that maybe Geyserville needs a healthcare CTE pathway or a media pathway to offer more career technical and education experiences.
Yeah, that's a great one. Those are always challenging to do, provide students with the breadth of opportunities to explore a variety of careers, but that's a great suggestion to be able to think about. Thank you, Maria. Anybody else?
Similar to what Maria said, I think I would suggest like providing additional funds to CTE programs and courses that would allow students to go on more field trips and outings to places where students can explore those interests outside of a classroom and in a professional setting. So you can like compare the two, and I think that'd be really good for students.
Awesome, great. How about one more? Anybody who's got some burning suggestions?
Yeah, I would take an engineering class and separate into two categories, kind of the ones who are interested in the technological side on computers and the ones who are interested in a more general application. And so they could both work in their own pathways and interests and then collaborate on projects, because I feel like this would mimic the real world.
I think you're right. I think that's how things are done many times, but I've got friends who work in that. So that's a great suggestion. Thank you, Jack. All right, so I'm going to move on to the next one and we'll give folks a chance to answer that. Who is it? Oh, you got some props from Chuck Wade, who works at the Sonoma County Office of Education. He loves those kinds of suggestions for improving CTE programs. Well done. All right, what would you like to share, if you could, with other students who may be contemplating taking CTE courses? What would you tell them?
Well, beyond just the skills that you learn, the people you meet are always really nice, it seems, and just super outgoing, and they're usually very invested in their work. And so you can learn a lot of stuff about all different types of like areas. And so if you're curious about it, go ahead and check it out.
Yeah, so you're talking about some of the industry folks you might meet or connect with?
Yeah, or even students who really know what they'd like to do, and they're really kind of determined to do that and working toward it.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Lucas. Anybody else? Another one?
I would say if someone was thinking about taking a course, complementing taking it, I'd say definitely try it out, especially if you're not sure what career path you want to choose. It gives you more of a general idea what you want to do after graduation, and that's what helped me.
Yeah.
It's just taking the course and trying it out.
Great. I want to ask, and Maria, maybe you know something about this, or other folks probably for sure. How did you learn about him? Was it counselor stuff or word of mouth, or what were the most, important ways for you?
Well, I personally took aeroponics and robotics by choice. I got asked if I wanted to take those, and I wanted to try something new, so I did take those.
That's great.
And then I was kind of put into my agriculture class, but I'm glad I was, because I like that as well.
Wonderful. That's fantastic. Anybody else? What would you tell another student? And then maybe how do you learn about your courses?
I would say that I would really recommend CTE classes because of how interactive they are and hands-on. And also that it like allows students to explore other possible interests in the STEM field, especially for women and interested in STEM, being that women are typically discouraged from participating in STEM, which is why I'm especially fond of CTE courses, because students, regardless of gender, orientation, race, are welcomed and encouraged to participate.
Yeah, and there are lots of opportunities that we try to foster more interest from students, non-traditional students in particular types of careers like women in STEM, like you're talking about, as well as bring in more students who may not have access to a lot of classes similar to your concept, your point, Maria. And so we want to continue to try to do that. CTE Foundation supports Community Wise, which is about getting young girls interested in STEM careers. And we have some courses that we funded that are just targeted for welding or manufacturing for girls. So there's some exciting things going on, and that's impressive. Thank you. All right. Anybody else want to add to that? What would you tell another student that might be interested in it?
I think for me it was a big part too, because I started off at a different high school in town where there wasn't any courses available. So I finally was able to transfer and get involved in those classes. I think it was a huge thing for me because, just the opportunities available in those classes, just, work hands-on, and, you're always there with people who want to work and want to be involved in industries that you're curious about too. So I think that's a huge thing, and it helped me.
That's awesome. Yeah, we're trying to get opportunities for the most number of students as possible across the county. And while some students, as to Maria's point again, some schools have some CTE courses, but they may not have what you're interested in, things like that. And that stuff happens, and it's too bad. It's hard to do. Great point. Any last, let me ask the last question, and then we'll see if we can get some questions from other folks. What do you think are the best ways for our industry partners and school leaders to support these CTE classes? What might be the best way, or some of the good ways for CTE, for our industry partners and other folks to support these courses?
I think for industry partners to help support us, I'd say donate some time to the local schools to help them develop a curriculum that aligns with real world jobs and the requirements for it. And then it would also promote the students into their business operations once they've gone through the CTE curriculum.
Oh, that's great. Very good. Anybody, another person?
I think definitely ways to help. And I mean, we've done it through our classes, doing like virtual tours right now. And I think that helps a lot with us because we get to take a look at, other companies and industries that, we get to go through and look at their shops and how things work. It gives us an inside view to what it actually is to work out there in the real world.
That's very cool. Did you get any ideas for, because you're obviously built that cart for your space. That's very cool. All right, somebody else? Any thoughts? Okay. All right, these are all phenomenal suggestions, and quite honestly, I am super impressed with the types of work you folks are doing, the ways that you think about the courses that you're taking, how you're going to learn, the types of things you're learning, and how that's going to help you. You obviously seem to be very conscientious about that, and I'm super impressed with the fact that you do that. I'm excited for our future because you guys are doing some amazing things, and I think you're going to continue, you're going to go on to do phenomenal things. So let's take a look. We've got a question from Stephanie Brown. How long are the individual CTE classes? Now, I'm assuming she's asking, are they year-long courses or semester courses? What are most of your courses?
Well, okay. At Pioneer, we have different pathways. So some courses, they have the same title, but they have different levels.
Got it.
So in my case, I've taken, well, so far I've taken level 1 and 3, health science and biotechnology, and I'm currently in HSB 2. And they're year-long courses, so you take them for 3 years. And as for like courses like AP Computer Science, it's also a year-long course rather than semester.
Oh, great. All right, another person? Thank you, Gabriella. So most of the classes I know are generally a year, and the pathways, as Gabriella was talking about, are sometimes 2 or more courses, maybe 3. So students could start out as a sophomore or maybe as a junior and matriculate through 2 or 3 classes that build on the skill development. And there are lots of programs in our county that the CTE Foundation supports, and they're all over the place. These integrated programs that link core academics and career tech education courses, core programs, academies, all of those different types to enhance what students learn. Amber, do you see any other questions that you wanted to ask out of the chat? I didn't notice any other ones.
No, I see some that we can respond to in a separate message.
Got it.
And we see one's coming through. Students, how have your CTE courses? Oh no, we've already answered that question. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think we've got the question answered.
Yeah. So, wow. Thank you so much to the students for doing this. Thanks to the CTE Foundation for the support, all of the teachers all over the place, and industry partners that support them, the educators and other folks who support teachers. It's hard work out there, and you guys do phenomenal stuff. Amber, did you want to kind of finish this up?
Yes, certainly. Again, I'm going to reiterate Stephen's thanks to the teachers that helped us identify the students that are here on the panel, to all of our supporters in the community that allow these courses to be as effective as they are and to continue operating in schools. And a huge thank you to all of our students, Gabriella, Jack, Lucas, Maria, and Adam, for being here, sharing your experiences with us. We wish you much success in your future. We can't be more excited about what you will do and be, and how you will support our community in the future. I also wanted to really quickly let everybody know or remind folks that we have 2 more sessions coming up and celebrate our CTE Month series. Next week, we'll be honoring Cole Smith, who is a recipient of the Tony Crab Spark Leadership Award. Of course, Cole is the Rancho Cotati High School shop teacher, and he has been a long time inspiration here for us at the foundation. So we'll be honoring him next Thursday. And then the final one in the series is how the need for industry investment goes beyond writing a check. So while it is so phenomenal when we receive donations that ultimately finance these programs, but there's also a lot more in terms of investment. We heard some of our students talk about that today, allowing students into the worksite to see what is happening in the real world, providing internships. There's lots of different ways to get involved. And so we'll have some of our employers talking about that and what they do to support CTE specifically. And I think with that, we are a wrap. Please feel free to reach out to us at CTE Foundation if you'd like more information about these classes, our investments, or how to get involved.